Welcome to the Grammar Zone. Today we're going to talk about the past perfect tense, the present perfect tense, and the past continuous tense. This is the second exercise of these three tenses. Now, without further ado, let's look at the first question. Before I took a shower, on the radio. While a shower, somebody turned it off. Now, we can actually draw a timeline over here for the first event. This is now, and clearly the sentence is written in the past tense, so it's not happening right now. It happened sometime in the past. So we know that he took a shower. The person took a shower. This is the time that he took the shower, and then before this he turned on the radio. So we know this event happened before he took a shower, so we have to use past perfect tense. So the answer is I had turned on the radio. Now the second action, you can see the keyword while. Now we know that we use while and when with past continuous tense. Again, we can draw the timeline like this. So while, this is now, while I was taking a shower, you know that taking shower must be the longer action, so the person was taking a shower, and then somebody turned it off. Somebody, some point in the past, he turned the radio off. So we know that the longer action has to be in past continuous tense. So the answer is I was taking a shower. So the answer for number one is before I took a shower, I had turned on the radio. While I was taking a shower, somebody turned off. Let's look at question number two. Where are you from? I'm from America. It's such a nice country. I've there before. So two people are having a conversation. One of them asked the person where he or she is from, and the person replied, he or she is from America. And here, it's such a nice country, never been there before. So you know he's talking about his personal experience. And we know that for experience, completion or duration, completion or experience, we have to use the perfect tenses. And here, the person is talking about his experience up till this point. So we know that we have to use present perfect tense. So the answer is I have never. The past participle form of be is been. So the answer is I have never been there before. Now let's take a look at question number three. Question number three, Henry told Kelly that Leo his driver's test the other day, but Kelly wasn't surprised. She heard it before. Now look at the timeline that we're going to draw here. This is for number one. So we know this is now, and we know it's not happening right now because it's written in past tense. So it happened sometimes in the past. So Henry told Kelly something. Leo did something to his driver's test, and we know that it happened before Henry told Kelly. So this is when Leo failed his driver's test. So we know this failing actually happened before Henry told Kelly. So for this, we have to use past perfect tense. Leo had failed. Leo had failed his driver's test. So we know this action had happened before Henry even told Kelly about the failure that Leo made. Now, but Kelly wasn't surprised. Kelly wasn't surprised because now this is now. We know that Kelly heard the news, but she wasn't surprised because before she heard the news from Henry, she had heard it from someone else. So this action actually happened before Henry told her. So we know, again, this is past perfect tense, happened before the past event, finished before past event. So she had already heard it. Be careful. Here it's an irregular verb. Hear, heard, heard. Now let's take a look at question number 4. Question number 4 should be very easy. You can see the conjunction when linking to actions. Most likely, because out of 3 tenses, the past continuous tense is the most possible one. So let's draw the timeline. This is now. Again, it happened in the past. So Gina went to bed at some point in the past. This is when Gina went to bed. And then outside, something was happening at the same time. It was raining. So you know that raining is the longer action. So we have to use past continuous for this. So it was raining. So the answer for number 4 is when Gina went to bed, it was raining. So let's take a look at question number 5. Question number 5, Sam called me on the cell to tell me to get to the station as soon as possible. He for me for 5 hours. Now we know 2 things happened. Now first, this is now. It's not happening right now because we can see ED, it's past tense. So Sam did something, Sam called me and told me to get to the station as soon as possible because 5 hours has passed. And he had been waiting for me for 5 hours. So it happened. The action was actually finished before he called me. So we have to use past perfect tense. He had waited for me for 5 hours. If you have learned how to use the past continuous, and you will know this sentence can also be written in the past continuous. If you had learned how to use the past perfect continuous, then you will know that this sentence can also be written in the past perfect continuous, which is had been waiting. So it's actually telling us that the person, Sam, was still waiting for the person here. Alright, so the answer for number 5 is Sam called me on the cell to tell me to get to the station as soon as possible. He had waited, or he had been waiting for me for 5 hours. Now, question number 6. Alto's back to work today, but was in the hospital last week. He, a patient in the hospital before, it was a new experience for him. So we need to draw a timeline over here. Now, we know this is not happening right now because back to work today, so he is working now. This is what happened today. But last week, he was in a hospital. So this is he being hospitalized. And he patient before hospital before. So we know that he was a patient last week. He went into the hospital because of something happened to him. But before this, he had never been a patient in a hospital before. So which means it's something happened in the past, and it's no longer true right now because last week he did go into the hospital. So we have to use past perfect tense for this. It happened before last week. It was still true before last week. So he had never. The verb past participle for be is been. Excuse me. Okay, so he had never been a patient in the hospital before. It was a new experience for him last week, but now he's back to work. Now, let's take a look at question number 7. Bob is a senior computer programmer in the company. He there for many years. While he overtime last night, the power was off. He had to call someone from the electricity company to take a look at the problems. Now, Bob is at the moment a senior computer programmer in a company. He there for many, many years. Now we know that he's still a computer programmer in a company, so this is a timeline. This is now. For many years he's been working in a company, so he's still a computer programmer in a company. So we know we have to use present perfect tense for this. He has worked there for many years, which means he's still working in the company, for the company, as a computer programmer. Now, if you had learned how to use the present perfect continuous, you would know the sentence can also be written in the present perfect continuous, which is he has been working. Okay, so both answers are okay. Now, while he overtime last night, the power was off. Now we know that two actions happen almost simultaneously using while. We know while is the conjunction that we use with longer action, normally the ing sentence. So this is a timeline. This is now. Of course, it's not happening right now because that's what happened last night. So this is what happened last night. Now, last night, the power went off. The power was off. This is the point when power was off. And when the power was off, Bob was doing something in the office. He was working. So this was Bob working. So we know working is a longer action. Power went off while he was working. So we know that we have to use past continuous tense for this. So he was working. So the answer for number 7 is Bob is a senior computer programmer in the company. He has worked or he has been working there for many years. While he was working overtime last night, the power was off. He had to call somebody from the electricity company to take a look at the problems. Let's look at question number 8. Question number 8. Yesterday I approached means get close to, a stranger who looked like Jane Moore and started talking to her, but she wasn't Jane. It was clear that a mistake. I was really embarrassed. We know that the whole thing happened yesterday. Okay, so this is a time marker. Clearly it's not now. It's what happened yesterday. So the person approached a stranger. This is when the person approached a stranger and talked to her. But before that, he had made a decision of talking to her. So we know that it's wrong. It turned out she was not Jane. So the person had made a mistake because he made the decision. He had made the decision before he approached and talked to the person. So we know we have to use past perfect tense. So I had made a mistake. So the answer for number 8 is, yesterday I approached a stranger who looked like Jane Moore and started talking to her, but she wasn't Jane. It was clear that I had made a mistake. I was really embarrassed. Thank you for watching this.